Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people has had their take on this. I was actually watching live whenever Rex Ryan went on live television to say what he said about Shedeur Sanders. I tried looking up the context of it. I didn't know what he was replying to. I don't know if this was in relations to what happened on Sunday when they got absolutely boat raced. I have no clue. But Rex Ryan said what he said, and he said, Shedeur, you need to shut up and play pretty much. Sit back, take notes, and get better at playing football. Now, let's just go ahead and react to what Shedeur Sanders did.
Quarterback. Vocally, anything to say?
I guess it's tough. I guess one more. I guess what do you think? You have to show, show to the coaches just to have them have that belief in you that you can, be ready.
What can you say?
So there you go there. Shedeur Sanders was pretty much just, antagonizing the media. And a lot of people were throwing things around, talking about, this was in relations to Dillon Gabriel being announced as a starting quarterback. That I knew that wasn't the case to begin with when I first saw it. I always knew that this was a direct response to Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan went and said what he said, talking about, hey, you need to shut up and just learn. And you put two and two together, Shedeur Sanders ain't talking in the media. Come on, that was an easy one. But we got to be honest. Shedeur Sanders is not helping himself acting this way because you are the third string quarterback. When they decided to bench Joe Flacco, the organization didn't even think you were good enough and worth it to make you quarterback 2. They said they would rather see Joe Flacco again under the helm rather than Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if that decision is based off of just production value in football or that has to do with a political aspect. I would imagine it's probably a mesh of the two. But either way, Shedeur Sanders, the political component, if there was even a small percentage of political motivation behind that move. This is an example of what you do not do to try and turn the tide. To try and make every single decision that the Cleveland Browns do regarding you potentially playing for the franchise, make it an actual football decision other than politics. Now, that's easier said than done because 9 times out of 10, if Shedeur Sanders is going to go out on the field as the starting quarterback for the Browns, there's going to be a political component involved in it, of course. But I'm just saying, Shedeur, help your cause. I know you're getting advice from your dad, and, Deion had his little nitbit to say. I get it. You want to be yourself. I'm for it. But at some point in time, you got to read the room. And I haven't discussed it. We know there's the articles that have went around so far about how Shedeur didn't want to get drafted by the Ravens just because he wanted an opportunity to start. Shedeur, help your cause. I get it. You want to be a starting quarterback. But would you rather be a starting quarterback for a historically poverty franchise where quarterbacks go to die? Go ask Baker Mayfield. Seems to me he's doing pretty darn good in Tampa right now, living it up. Or would you have rather went to Baltimore and learn how to win? Learn how to be a starting quarterback. Learn to play the part. Look at the Dak Prescotts. Look at the Jalen Hurts. The Patrick Mahomes. all the quarterbacks who have been able to make it in this league, and Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts is a great representation of that. They weren't first-round picks. When Dak Prescott was put into the helm, they didn't think Dak Prescott was ever going to be a starter in the league. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. The Eagles necessarily didn't draft Jalen Hurts thinking they were getting their franchise guy. But they've done all the right steps in letting their play speak for themselves. Shedeur is not doing that. He's letting all of the antics that are non-football related cloud his opportunities. In this situation, to where you're responding to someone like Rex Ryan, who is super irrelevant to you at the moment. Rex Ryan has no say within that organization if you start or not. No media members do. We are just here to dissect things and give our own interpretation to our audiences that want to hear us. Stop feeding into the media, Shedeur. You ever seen Dak Prescott in the media? The man's the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Gets crapped on week in and week out. And yet he has his chest high, head up, and trying to do the best he can to win. And so far, he's going into year 10, and he's done a darn good job at doing it. He is 30 games above 500. He was a 4th-round draft pick, and he has made a name for himself in this league as a starting quarterback. You have the opportunity to do the same, but you don't want to help yourself. All you had to do in that interview is take the right route and say, look, I'm happy for Dillon Gabriel. You know, and it's not even referencing Dillon Gabriel. Whatever questions they were asking, just straight beeline away from the question like Dak Prescott does. Be like, you know, I'm just here. I'm trying to do my job as a quarterback 3. If that's helping my defense out on scout team, be better against the pass, be more efficient. And whenever my opportunity is given, I'm going to be ready to play. And I'm going to play to the best of my ability. I just said it for you, Shedeur. And I'm not even in the NFL. I'm not even media trained. I'm sure you're media trained. You're supposed to be at least. But whoever is your media coach, they're giving you pretty darn bad advice. But there you go. I'm not even the expert over here. I don't play NFL. I'm not a quarterback in the NFL. I'm not even close. Not even close to the athlete you are. But it don't take the smartest person and the most media savvy person. Granted, I am pretty media savvy. I talk to you guys on a weekly basis. Multiple times a week. But it doesn't take much. Just take that approach and it will work wonders. Because in all honesty, I believe that the Browns are doing the most they can to not put you out there on the field. They just don't want to deal with it. And it's coming from the top. They're paying Deshaun Watson all this money. I know they're probably hoping Deshaun Watson can get back to the glory days that he used to have, but that's never going to happen again, in my opinion. So, Shedeur, you're fighting an uphill battle. You're just not trying to alleviate any of the stigmatism from the media at all. It's disappointing because I want to see Shedeur on the field. I think he's an exciting player. I think he is a winning quarterback. He throws a great football. And I think he has an opportunity to be a pretty darn good quarterback in this league. And I want to see him on the football field. I want to see him succeed. There's nothing better in sports than seeing people overcome obstacles. That's why Baker Mayfield is such a fascinating player, and it's easy for everybody to root for him. Because of all the stuff that Baker Mayfield has went through. I mean, we've seen it many a times in the media. The very famous picture of Baker Mayfield in Carolina running scout team at the defensive line position. And it's phenomenal to see that he's came from that to this season being one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. It's just a great thing to see. And it's something that us, people in the media, want to see Shedeur at some point. But you got to help your cause. Baker learned, and hopefully Shedeur does too. You know, I hope Shedeur will continue to learn from situations like this. And I know Deion Sanders, you know, he was Deion, and I know Shedeur is just like his dad. But the thing about Deion that is different from Shedeur does not have the same cachet to back up the type of personality that he is putting in display in front of the media to back it up. He can't back it up because he's nowhere near the guy that his dad was. His dad coming out of the draft was a super talented player, first round pick. It's not the same for Shedeur. You are a 5th round draft pick. Granted, the Mel Kybers of the world, a lot of people had you as a 1st round grade. But let's just face reality. You're a 5th round quarterback. Just do what you got to do to ultimately get the job. I understand you're trying to be yourself, but at some point help yourself out.